In this episode, I decided to bring on my brother Jordan to walk through some of the AI workflows, to discuss some of the new AI releases, and how we can help people go from zero to finished product in just a few hours. Maybe you're watching this and you have a great idea, but you don't know how to use AI to make that idea come to life. Well, stick around because we're going to be discussing all of that in this episode. Let's get right into it. What's going on, Jordan? Welcome to the party. I wanted to bring you on because you are deeply involved in the AI space and there's so much happening. I just want to know, kind of from your point of view, we'll just start it off with this hot take. I believe that it's one of the best times to be a builder, creator, especially when it comes to using AI. I just want to know, like, your thoughts. What do you think? Like, is this the best time to be building a startup right now?
Without question. I mean, what other time would be better? I mean, like, even look 10 years ago, the things that you needed to get something off the ground was actually insane. Even during COVID, like, everyone was kind of stuck and they were in, like, entrepreneurship went on the rise, like little side projects and stuff. That's really where, like, I tapped back into Twitter at the time, X, during COVID. And I felt like there was just like an underground, like, groundswell of like indie hackers, and like Peter Levels was popping off back then, even though he had started in like 2017. Amount of work that you had to do to get a project off the ground then was actually insane to be an indie hacker.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone is listening to this and tried, it was literally so hard to even get a landing page up.
That was my whole reason of not getting into the space, is just I don't want to have to learn all this programming language, and I have a good idea, but when am I going to find the time to learn all that? And that's why talking to people like yourself and having other people come on the podcast, where you just get like a point of view of how they're using these tools and what they're building. And you're right, it's like even 3-4 years ago, to build a quick mobile app, took significantly longer. Then you can literally build 90% of an MVP in a couple hours nowadays. So I want to know, what are you working on? Like, what's the biggest project that you're working on right now, and how are you building it?
Yeah, we're working on ideabrowser.com right now is like the main focus. And what it is it's kind of a blend between like a daily newsletter where we send you a validated idea every single day, where we send our scrapers and our agents out into the world to go find vetted ideas. And yeah, we break it down based on frameworks, how you could go to market with this. If you're a part of the pro plan, we give you a bunch of prompts and things that you can go and build it and start in like one click. And then we also have a research agent that allows you to plug in your own ideas and get reports back like this on how to structure the offer, execution, etc. Because at late checkout and like in the Startup Idea podcast universe, we are in the light bulb business. We are trying to inspire people to see an idea, have an idea that they've thought about for weeks or months or years even, but reduce that friction to create. Are we going to launch your business? No, absolutely not. Even though it's the best time to be a builder right now, I still think it's incredibly hard to do, and I think we look up to you and how you've been able to use Idea Browser and, go from, you took actually like one of my mom's ideas. Like, you don't need this, but
What was that?
the eBay one was
Yeah.
like my mom's idea, and I just put it through Idea Browser to make it like the idea of the day. It's because she had a bunch of stuff that she didn't want to sell on eBay, and I was the one having to list it. So anyway, like, you turned that into easy flip.
Yep.
And are generating revenue within 2 months, less than 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's with, you have a little bit of an audience in that space, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I
But
follow
even
that.
still, like, incredible though. Like, the fact that you were able to go, like, we just talk about like you as like a case study on internals. Like, if we can do that for Bo and others, then we're fired up. So really, it's all around like making this product better and helping reduce the friction to help people get ideas out of their head, or put ideas in their head and allow them to build it.
This in itself is an amazing idea, this platform. I'm trying to think of other things that are similar, and I can't think of any. Maybe it's just because I don't know, but I'll put a link down below if you guys are catching on this replay. But I've been able to launch 2 apps with literally no experience. Like, we're talking 75 days ago, I didn't even know what Claude Code did. I didn't even know what a database was. I didn't know anything. And this took me from 0 to like 80% of like understanding how to build an app. What does a structure of an app look like? Like, how do users get verified? So authentication. Where do we store the information for the users? A database. And how do we plug in all these APIs so that we can talk to each other and transfer information and use a lot of the tools that are being available to us, like, Nana Banana, Sora 2. And now I kind of like was able, Idea Browser was able to kind of help me visualize what is an app, like how does it work, and then you can just apply that same logic to other ideas that you have here. I have the paid plan. I think it's worth it, but yeah, this has helped me build what we're building. So we got Easy Flip, and then we have Perfecta Pick, which is something I'm actually building with Paul in the group. And without like being able to validate the ideas, it would just take me more time. Like, I'd have to go to Google, see if it's trending, go search Reddit, see if it's actually something I can build. Because what I've learned in Startup Empire too is like, I think the most important thing is validation. Like, is what I'm building going to actually be what people want? And if it's not, then it doesn't mean that it's not worth building. I just think that if you're trying to make money, that's a huge thing. So what I like is all these graphs. Recently, I was just playing around with like a photo recognition tool where resellers can go out to garage sales or thrift stores and just take a photo of an item. And then it scrapes all the sold comparables on Poshmark and eBay, and then just gives people the idea of like, what's it worth? What is this item sold for recently? And you
That's
can
really
see
cool.
like, this is a thing. People want this. No one wants to go manually search for what items are worth. So obviously there's demand. But good job. Like, how did it's not just you that built this? Did you build it with like a team, or how did you?
Yeah, we have
How,
we have
how did
one developer on the team, so it's like very very
Okay.
streamlined. So we have a developer who helps a lot, and yeah, so Greg Eisenberg and I run. He does the Startup Ideas podcast. I help run Startup Empire, and then we have Idea Browser as our product. So our methodology is the ACP framework. Greg came up with this probably like, I don't know, like 3 years ago or so. It's audience, community, product. So find an underserved audience, collect them, put them in a community, listen to what they want, and then build products that they're begging to buy. We think it's like the best way to de-risk a business, like full stop. And I think once you see the ACP, it's hard to unsee it. Like there's multiple, examples of like Mr. Beast is doing ACP in a way with Feastables, right? And Prime. Those are like the most public examples where it's like Jake Paul had an audience. They care that it was a lot of kids. He's an athlete, and or it's Logan Paul for
Right.
Prime. So
Yeah.
Jake's trying to do the same thing, I guess, with the deodorant, but I digress. So yeah, that's like what we're doing is like the Startup Ideas podcast audience community is Startup Empire, and like what product could we build them? Like we ran the numbers on Startup Empire, and a large piece of people were either looking for ideas or looking to validate the ideas that they had. Like 80% of people that came in that's what they were after.
Yeah.
So we were like, what could we build that would serve our community and something that we would use? Like we wanted to be the audience too. And every time we had an idea, a million Google tabs would pop up, like bing, 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 like check domain, like go to market strategy. What are we going to call it? What's the brand going to be? What's some inspiration, mood board, all those things like happening really quickly. So we're like, what's a product that could spin up these agents that could help you do that without the gajillion Google tabs and without the stress, and be validated for you personally too. Like that's what we're working on right now is a recommendation engine to where like we can say, why are you saving this agency business when you just said you wanted, a recurring revenue SaaS that uses your experience with B2B sales? Why are you starting like a video agency for plumbers?
Right.
Right? Like, you don't like, you're not going to be the person that should do that. You could do it, sure, but that might not be the best idea for you. And idea selection and project selection is like a huge thing. So anyway, that's
Yeah.
how we created Idea Browser.
Yeah. I mean, following the proven framework. Yeah. So, like, for people that are in this space, like me a couple months ago, um, beginners are the biggest part of any niche, and I think that for anyone watching, just, stumbling across this video, if you're beginning out there, time is my currency, right? And I don't have a ton of time with running other businesses in the background to be learning every single thing that comes out, and all these tools can be overwhelming. So just using Idea Browser just allowed me to get more focus. And I just want to show off this one thing that can be helpful for people that are interested in launching their idea is you have this like a builder right here. And this really helped me understand what are the things that I need to build around this idea. The one most important thing that I've learned is that product requirements document when you're going to be building this out. This is like your product roadmap. This is like the brain and the plan to your idea. And this I didn't even know existed. And it's also going to make your building much easier too. Like if you're using Claude Code or any codex or whatever, using this is going to be the guide to your project. So it's really cool. You could just take this prompt and click on Bolt, Lovable, Claude, whatever, and you can just copy that prompt right into any of these LLMs, and they're going to spit out a great PRD that you could then take to some of these builders and then start spinning up your idea. That was huge. I didn't have this when I first built Easy Flip, and I was coming across so many like inconsistencies, hallucinations, things that just weren't like, this is not what I wanted, because like Claude didn't have anything to go off of. So that was huge. And you also have other things here that help, people, build out their idea. I
Yeah.
think this is just such a great tool. Um, people procrastinate the most when they just don't know how to do something. So this is the how right here. Here you go. Just knock out every one of these tabs and you'll have a working product probably within a day. I didn't know how to do any of this. We made a lot of progress just in the first day.
Yeah, and I think a part of it too is like, even if you don't have it built fully, seeing it come to life, will let you know, like, am I really excited about this still?
Yeah.
You see it come to life and you're just like, no, thank you. I'm not excited about this. Perfect. That's also super valuable, because every no is, saying yes to like 5 things or whatever the adage is. So I think that's like kind of our methodology. And ideally, like when agents get better and these multi-agent frameworks get better, we'll have a main orchestrator agent that's like, yo, I'm Bo. This is what I'm about. Here's my profile. Here's what I've loved. Here's what I've clicked on. Here's what I'm interested in. Generate ideas for me, and also like give me a go-to-market plan. And what should I start on first? And have it be more of like an AI co-founder with these agents. So that's like where we're headed with it. I'd say the agent stuff is still really early. Curious to hear what you think on it. It's more for like, they're just not that good at like actions yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, where I still think, even just getting into the space and actually building in it, I still think we're just so early. Just
Mhm.
and maybe it's just because I'm living in a rural area, but if I ever mention AI to anyone, their eyes kind of just gloss over, and I don't really like to go deep into it like I'm doing with people in startup empires. Like those are the people that are like passionate about this, but when I'm out in the real world talking to people, they don't have it, they don't have any comment. Like there's no comment about it.
Yeah.
And so surrounding yourself with other people that are also heavily in this space, I tell. There are a few friends that we jump on Zoom and I'm helping them get Claude Code installed and building this. And they're like, whoa, so we're coding now? It's like, well, you're vibe coding. So it's a little different. So,
We're vibing,
um,
bro.
yeah,
Chill. Don't call it
yeah,
coding.
yeah,
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So it's just like such a good opportunity. And I just tell, people that there's a whole nother world going on right now that people have no idea about. The fastest growing companies right now in the world, AI startups, like Lovable. I mean, look at all of them that are just like, oh yeah, we're at 600 million ARR now and we launched 4 months ago. And you're like,
It's
so
inconceivable. It's inconceivable, truly.
um
Like,
so
to the
yeah,
point where it's not even real.
it's crazy, and whether the businesses are long lasting, it doesn't matter. It's just there's a ton of money pouring into this space. So, and that's why I wanted to start building in public, just to kind of help people that like myself that have an idea building in public. And even though the video might not turn out, is still going to be helpful for a lot of people that, actually it was a topic in today's call, is like, is this valuable to people? Yes, it is. Even you just clicking around on buttons and setting up Claude Code, that's super valuable because people learn differently. And that's why I wanted to start the channel, just show like what I'm working on.
Yeah, I think you've killed it, dude. Like seriously, when I say we talk about you a lot, I think you it's just like you're a nice archetype of who we're trying to help and serve, you know? And you're taking action and sharing along the way. And like even watching you go from the last 60 days has been incredible, you know? Like it's super cool to see the curiosity driven like development approach that you have where now you're teaching people who are like 60 days behind you, which used to be like 6 years behind you. Now
Right.
it's 60 days behind you, which is really cool because I think there's like a freshness there, where you're like, bro, I was just there. Like I was you last week, no problem. I
For sure.
got you, you
Yeah.
know? I think that's really, really cool. So, dude, you're killing it. I love the channel and love the two projects that you're working on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I think surrounding yourself with people that have like the same vision, goals, values, see the same opportunity is hugely important, because it is a very kind of like lonely, you're at your computer, you're building cool stuff, but you have no one to tell. It's like I could tell my wife, Rochelle, it's like, look, I just connected the OpenAI SDK agents. And she's like, what? And it's like,
Like,
who do I
cool,
tell
babe.
this to? And that's
Cool,
why
babe.
I
Can we
love
get
the whole,
Chipotle now?
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I love the whole space on X, and it's hard to get lost in the sauce on there with so much cool stuff coming out. But let's just go with all three main things that have released just in the last few weeks that I'm still kind of like, wow, how do I use these tools? I'm just gonna say the tool, and then you just give me your thoughts.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh, I love this.
what do you think about like Sora 2? It just released. What kind of opportunity does it bring for builders? What have your thoughts on how maybe you would use it personally in your workflow?
Yeah, Sora looks incredible. I did the mobile version. Like I made myself skateboard and in like a downtown golden hour. I can send it to you so you can like edit it over. It took 2 seconds. Like I literally did my face. I read three numbers and I had a video of me like doing the kickflip down a set of stairs in like a mountain town
Yeah.
during golden hour. And to see that go from like 0 to that in 30 seconds with zero prompt engineering anything, I think it's just a really big unlock. And I think I like what OpenAI is doing because it's all in the same ecosystem. There's Kling and there's VO3, but if you already are Chat GPT subscriber, which a lot of people are, and as the platform gets more sticky and more inclusive, like Google, for example, like VO3 and Sora together, and with the APIs, you can use both models. So I think like the consumer is actually empowered more, like consumer to create. I mean, like B2C basically.
Yeah.
We are the actual winners. Like as these models fight for AGI and relevance and whatever, like they're gonna battle, we're gonna win regardless. So I think Sora is incredible and it just allows you to create video content like you haven't before. So I was thinking about it. It's like, how can we pump out, like short form video on like ideas of the day or top trends of the week? Whether that's Greg or whether that's a character we create or whether it's just like, I don't know, like a mood board kind of vibe using Sora, which would take a lot of instruction and creative direction before. So,
Right.
I think a lot of people, and people call that AI slop. I just don't subscribe to the whole, oh, that's going to be AI slop. Of course, dude. There's slop out there. There's human slop out there right now.
Yeah.
Like human created slop, not human slop, but human created slop.
I need to buy that domain, aislop.com. It's merch.
Right.
Um, yeah,
Honestly,
you're right. I mean, it's just a trending word, but yeah, to be able to create content from just like you said in 30 seconds, the supply is gonna outweigh the demand. So the people that are gonna rise to the top are the ones who make the best content with it, right? And
totally.
my mind is like spinning on that whole idea of marketing material, storytelling. You had a great tweet just like a month ago that it was like storytelling is the superpower, storytelling is the key. And if you can craft a good story, whatever product you're trying to sell, and if the story tells, from zero to hero in that short 30-second or 2-minute video, people feel empowered that they need your product to do this. So yeah, you put the most valuable skill in the world right now is storytelling. So why do you think that is? Why do you think people relate to that so much?
Well, it's just time. It's timeless, right? Like telling a good story, as long as humans are involved and human psychology is involved, then that's all that's ever basically existed, right? Like business, sales, whatever, anything that's moved people, both from an entertainment perspective or a motivation perspective, is all driven back to psychology and keeping someone's attention to get your desired result. Crowds gather around good stories. Stories help create meaning around things that are, meaningless without stories. Like if you look at like every sports story that ever existed, it's like if it's a guy who is, like look at Arch Manning right now, he's like getting, slammed because he's
Yeah,
not good, right? And it's
yeah,
like that's a story because
right.
his literal uncles are Eli and Peyton. So it's
Yeah,
like if it was just a dude and he was like, oh, highly created, it's just like he's just a flop. But like
yeah,
he's the heir to the throne that's flopping. So that's a
yeah,
story. Versus like a
yeah.
come up story, it's like that guy lived on the streets and now he's playing in front of 100,000 people. That's why people like it. So I think that's where stories persist and they will continue to persist.
Right, and just going off that football theme, and I'm a big 49ers fan, but, like, the story of Brock Purdy, it's, like, the last pick in the draft. He's a great player, and, people relate to that, and it's a great story, and I think everyone always roots for the underdog. So, yeah, if you could craft a good story, it's gonna create a fan base of super fans. That's why actually rolling off into this on this same topic is that you guys did that documentary, which I think for people that aren't in the AI space, like I was able to share that with a couple friends, and
Yeah.
then it gives them like a point of view, like, oh my goodness, this is the AI gold rush. This is happening right now, and you guys did it. I don't know if it was you or other people that created that, but the production was very high, and it just really gave you a good story of what's going on in this space and how can I get involved. Give us a takeaway. You were in it, and it was just this last summer, I think. What is going on? Like you were boots on the ground. That must have been a just eye-opening experience. Like what are some things you learned during that time?
Yeah, we wanted to create the AI Gold Rush documentary because of the opportunity that we see exist, and we wanted to create it in a high quality way that like felt like a Netflix documentary,
Hmm.
so that people in the sauce like you and X and whoever and like Greg's YouTube channel, they could share it with, like normal people. And that could be like the on ramp or like my
Yeah.
wife wanted to watch it on Friday night. Like I called it like creating like Friday night content or like date night content where that just like doesn't exist. If I pull up like a YouTube video and it's like Greg interviewing, Amir on how to use cursor, my wife is just,
Yeah.
turned off and it's just like not it. And she's a software developer, like she
Okay.
like just, it just doesn't drive drive her, but like she was interested in the stories and the hackathon and seeing the UGC and seeing like the chain smokers and just like normal life overlapping with this like tech boom. And I think that's the cool thing about AI is it's normalizing and giving opportunity to people that, previously like wouldn't have existed, right? It's like, yeah, you can build an app, but you can also like publish a child's story, like it can be as little as like, oh my gosh, I made a video for my kid, to, oh my gosh, I made $2,000 by creating this startup and I just, it's growing like a weed and now I'm going to quit my job. So like the ability that AI has to like affect even the smallest things to like a life-changing event like building a business that you are able to replace your income, there's just immense opportunity. And it's just really fun, like we turned my dog into a Pixar character and made like a little children's book for our newborn. And like that was just fun for us to do.
Yeah.
Previously insanely difficult and basically impossible. So it wouldn't have ever existed, other than like in our heads. So that's what I think that's why we wanted to create the AI Gold Rush, is because they're and expose what people are doing and the crazy things that are going on, just to give context. And once again, we're in the light bulb business, to trigger some light bulbs in people.
Yeah.
I showed my friend a pre-cut and got his like normie feedback.
Yeah.
And within an hour of me leaving his house showing it, he was like, I just built my first website on Bolt. I've got my distributors signed up. And it's just like, I get chills. Like I got chills when he texts me that, because he would have just hired a person on Upwork, and paid $3,000 and been disappointed with it. And it would have taken 3 weeks or whatever. He had it stood up like that afternoon. And I just don't think that's really ever been a thing before, where everybody with internet and a computer has access to these tools.
It's like you found something so good, you just want to go up to people and shake them and go, "Are you building right now? What are you building?" Because I mean, the world right now, it is in America, it's just like people are looking for ways to make extra money, and then this, I always have this saying, but your job is kind of like what they pay you to do, but like your work, your life work is what you were born to do. So like now this opens up the opportunity to anyone, and not saying, hey, have a job, keep a job, do a job, but now you can, 9 to 5 is your job. What are you doing 5 to 9? Now you can build that thing you wanted to build, and you don't need to learn Tailwind. You don't need to learn all these coding languages to build something great. And I just think that for people that are looking from the outside in, like I was, is like, it's not going to take you that long to build what you want to build. And it can be as wide open as possible. Like, what is the problems that you're facing? Even building an app for yourself. Like, what is something that can help you be better? With planning or, calorie counting. Like you could build your own Cal AI in a day, and it's your own. You can build your own.
Yeah,
It's
single
crazy.
user software is a
Yeah.
thing, right? Like disposable software is a thing. Like,
Yeah.
like for that SF trip building the AI Gold Rush, we were going to like 40 different places in SF. I spun up like an itinerary app,
Yeah. Nice.
and had 3-4 users, but everyone on the team was able to like share it out. And like, hey, we're going there at 12. Here's the address. Click to call an Uber.
Yeah.
Have I opened that since May?
For the next
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
it's dead. Maybe the next one.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, that's cooked. So yeah, single player software is a huge trend, I think, and like family software, and software is eating the world, I guess, and AI is eating software, as they say.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, my biggest takeaway from that is kind of what you're probably going to see more of, but that kind of like that headquarters, that where people can go and work on their startup, and there's like no interruption. The food is like done for them. They hit the gong, and I
Yeah,
thought that kind of just paradigm shift for me. Like, wow, that is.
HF0.
Yeah, very niche, right? But I don't know of any other places like that exist. And I think that is allowing people to enter these flow states, build what they want to build. And I think it was like, what, every 6 months or 8 months they like, you turn over. I don't think they have very many people there.
Yeah.
But the success stories that came from that is really cool. What are your thoughts on that? Like, because I have 4 kids, I'm running around. To enter the flow state is literally like 6 in the morning to like 9, and then that's it. It's like it's hard to get
I
the
didn't know
hours
you
in.
I didn't know you had 4 kids, and you're vibing. It's crazy. You got little mini agents running around.
Yeah, yeah. No, and that's the cool thing for people that do have kids is that we're in very much involving them into their idea building.
Yeah,
Like our daughter learned how to crochet by using Claude on the side to ask about like how to
so
do
cool.
this stitch or whatever, and
Yeah,
YouTube videos. And now she's got a full on business. She's knocking out a stuffy every day. Um, Building with AI and using YouTube to
yeah.
build.
That
So
that's just
it's
so
crazy.
that's so cool, right? It's like she's like whether she sells it or not, or gives them away or whatever. It's just I think people get wrapped up in like the get rich quick kind of whatever. But like every time I'm like, oh, you could build your ideas. It's like I'm not
Yeah,
telling you to like go get rich or make money. It's just like it's the fulfillment part of it, right? It's like your neighbor has one of her stuffies that she made,
yeah,
and she got something back from currency, like a currency, and that dopamine trigger is an incredible like character builder in my opinion.
yeah. I think if you're getting into this space just because of money, you're gonna be you may make money, might make a lot of money,
Yeah,
but it always goes back to like why are you doing what you're doing, and
yeah,
that's why you see a lot of people with a lot of money they lose their why, and they're some of the most depressed people on the planet because they got $100 million but they don't know why. So you got to go back to why are you building what you're building, and that's going to bring you the fulfillment. For me, an easy flip, I could care less if I had anyone use it, but I use it every day in my workflow. I'm uploading the photos, I click a button, the listings are done. Great, saves me an hour a day. And if people use it and they go, "Wow, this helped me save more time," that's where the fulfillment comes because that's why I built it because I want people to save more time, not have to do manual listings.
yeah.
So
It's
it's like,
really cool too because
yeah,
like when you were building that, I think we tweeted it out too, and everyone was coming in the comments with like all the competitors, or whatever.
yeah,
It's like you could use this, you could use that. Did you know this exists? That sounds like this. It's like doesn't matter, dude. Like
that's
Bo
good.
is like, I'm building it, and now he's got MRR. So like you can just do things, and competition doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, there
Like
was it's almost scary if in not saying it's not possible, but you do want someone in the industry in that niche validate like you want a big player in the niche. You want a someone that's making good money doing it. I mean, go look at all of the stories out on YouTube on people who vibe coded and their main thing was like, yeah, I just copied this app and made it my own, made it 1% better, and now I'm making 20K MRR. And it's literally a cut and copy of something that's already there. Which I think like underrated, going to Reddit, reading some of the reviews of that product, read the negative reviews, fix what they're failing on, and you build it and make it better. A lot of the times when the companies are so big, they can't, they're like, they can't have the swiftiness of like a single solo founder startup. They got 40 people on their team.
yeah,
They can't just like turn quick on ideas. It has to be like go through the board and do all this stuff where like a solo creator can like implement all these little things quick on the fly. So
yeah.
I know there was a lot to unpack there, but that's how I see like how a solo creator can take a lot of market share because they're able to head on a swivel and spin quick and correct a lot of problems.
There's 5
Uh,
billion people on the internet.
yeah,
Like, that is
yeah, exactly, and they're all looking for something.
yeah, of
So we went through Sora 2, kind of went off on a trail there, but some
course.
other things that have released recently that I've been using Sonnet 4.5. What is your go-to like coding agent? Are you using Claude Code? What are you using to build some ideas out?
Yeah,
Like
Claude
close up.
Code. I'm like a big Anthropic guy. Like I'm not anti OpenAI. A lot of like AI, API and SDK stuff, I'm down. And we use a lot. I'm not a developer by any means. I'm more like a vibe marketer, trying to be do more development stuff. Like no users, just internal. things that I'm kind of like personal software, basically like Slack notifications that, wrap up our week and close our books, and, just signal on conversion rate and little like Slack funnel builders and stuff like that. Just stuff that I would like usually open 12 tabs and like manually track in an Excel spreadsheet. But yeah, Claude Code is the GOAT. Claude is my go-to.
Yeah.
And I use it inside IDE, my like cursor as an IDE. I don't have an active cursor subscription, but in case I ever want to, I just kind of use cursor as the IDE. And yeah, that's the main thing. And I've really been trying to build out these multi-agent flows recently, where I have like a master agent for one of our businesses, like Idea Browser, for example. I'll have like a funnel architect and like kind of like my sidekick, basically, that calls all of these different agents to help us build and grow the product and the business. So it's kind of like my eyes and ears on the data, and I get a lot of like good growth ideas from that multi-level agent. That it's trained off of like several different things, like Hormozi's money models and Russell Brunson's .com secrets and a bunch of other like Ogilvy copywriting, just like all the stuff that has like kind of made me out to be who I am as a business person. I've kind of trained these agents around that. So they give me good ideas, but they're not good enough to execute yet. Like I'm like, write a 7-day email sequence to help, onboard the client, like new users into product education. It can't do it. Like it won't, like it's not a copy paste yet, but I'm like, give me 10 ideas and angles on how I can use psychology and what positioning and case studies that we have that we can use. It gives me an amazing playbook that gets me way down the road, like 80% down the road. And then I can add the sauce on top and actually make it good. So that's really what I'm using, is like Claude Code every day and that agent flow.
Yeah. And I know OpenAI just released their agent builder, and I know there's Lindy, there's Gumloop,
Mhm.
there's
Yep.
N8N. Have you used the OpenAI agent builder, or what is a tool that you're using the most?
I played with it a little bit. Honestly, I've been doing automations with Claude Code and
Okay.
hosting them on GitHub Actions
Hmm.
for free. I think you get like 2,000 hours of runtime for free just on GitHub. I've been doing that, and then also using Runway to host a couple like automations and stuff. So I've been kind of like custom building a lot of the like automations and like agentic workflows that run on cron jobs.
Mm,
That are just like scheduled to hit after a certain time, and like send to close a business report at 6 p.m.
yeah.
I'm on a walk and I get a little like end of day report and it fires me up. It's like visitors, conversion,
Right.
all the things that I would like look at. So yeah, I've used the OpenAI agent builder for a minute, and Greg actually did an episode with Amir who
Yeah.
really dove into it, and it's early. It's early.
Yeah. I think it's I think just being able to visualize, not everyone is going to be in the terminal, and everyone's different, right? And I like being in the terminal because I like seeing what's going on and
Yeah.
learning why are we making this change. But the visual builder is so appealing because you get to see how it all looks. Paul is building an N8N workflow for Perfectapic, and him explaining it to me without the visual look, I would have no idea what he's talking about. But since he's showing the screen, I'm like, oh wow, the trigger that gets set off in Google Sheets, it then sets off, to use our API to do the before and after photo, and then it posts to Instagram, and then it tags the real estate agent. I'm like, that is so powerful that that's just one workflow you can build. But to visually see it, I think is going to open up the opportunity for people that only can do it visually, and automate a lot of these things that you're doing within Idea Browser and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something that I haven't even. I'm like in Claude Code too. I don't. I'm not really like, I have a Lindy bot that responds to emails for our
Mhm.
clothing business, but it's crazy. It's crazy. It's hard not to get lost in the sauce. There's just so much coming out.
Yeah,
What is
that's why I'm trying to stay like heads down on it.
Yeah,
It's like I tried the agent builder for a minute and I was like, cool, I get it. I agree. This is where things are headed, like visually. I wish they would have done like chat to
Mhm.
workflow, and just like
Yeah.
held off, but they got it out the door for Dev Day, which I guess makes sense. Well, they had like all the eyeballs on them. So I don't think people are going to be drag and dropping building agents. I do think visuals matter a ton, and that's why N8N is so valuable. They just raised like 180 million at like a $2 billion valuation, and I mean it's insane. So like their main thing is visuals, right? Like it just like that's why everyone goes crazy on X and social is because like the visuals, because humans process visuals like 1,000 times faster than words or something
Yeah.
insane. And so it's like, oh, of course. So yeah, I think if I was an audience member listening to this, oh, where do I start? I would just pick your thing and get good at it. Like if you're a Claude guy and you want to use Claude Code, and like just stay in that lane. And of course, there's going to be like little ancillary things that Claude Code will recommend to you go get, like a Railway or a Vercel or a some tool you didn't know about, and then you can like turn on your curiosity flip or switch and go look at that and say, okay, actually, yeah, I should use Neon and Vercel. Makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense, boom, and now it's in my stack.
Yeah.
Instead of like always exploring, you're just overwhelmed.
Oh, me too. I mean, I was like Super Base and
Yeah.
N8N and all these things. It's like once you find a product that works in your workflow, why would you use anything else? So the things that I learned building our first product, Easy Flip, I just took everything and applied it to Perfectapic, and it made building it within a week or two. It's done because I knew, okay, we can host the images on Cloudflare R2. We can store all the credentials in the database using Neon. We could use the free pick API to use the upscaler and Gemini 2.5 to edit the photos. So once you can like use the product once, just stick with it.
Yeah, it's
Because
like
yeah, it's so hard.
build once, sell twice, or explore once, use
Right.
twice.
Yeah. 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 So just like my the whole channel is focused for beginners. And like if you're a beginner watching this, I just want to get your kind of thoughts on like what would be some advice for people that maybe are looking at this video and going like, yeah, I don't know how to do it. Where do they start? Like,
Yeah.
what's the quickest way from idea to building something? What should they do?
Dude, let's jam on this because I think you have a really good, like, I would love to just, like, I think about it in, I called it like vibe it. It's like, how would someone vibe it? What do you need to do? You need an idea. You can go to idea browser, use an idea agent, go on Google Trends, whatever you want to do, get an idea. Then you need a product requirement document, like define it. So like idea it, define it. And then what do you think? What would be the next step? Because I think you have like a really good workflow, that like JS kit that you were telling me about.
Yeah, yeah, I could. Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, there is a process. There is a process. When I first started, I thought I could build my whole app using Bolt, and I
Yeah.
think Bolt and Lovable are really good, and they've even gotten better. But I
Hmm.
think if you're building something that's a little bit more, let's say you're connecting a few backend APIs and it's just a little bit more, robust, I think that maybe you start in one of those platforms and then you download your repository and then plug it into something like Codex or Claude Code, GLM 4.1 or 4.6, all these other agentic coding agents out there. Once you get that going, that's the key. But for me, not knowing very much about any of this, I just use straight up Claude. I just started a project and I told Claude, here's my problem. And I used Idea Browser to plug the PRD in, and it just started spinning up all these things that I could then take to Claude Code. And I was just very clear with Claude in the project that I'm not building this. I'm giving all this to Claude Code. So tell me what to tell Claude Code to build. And that started it off because I don't know. So I don't know what to give Claude Code to build the project, but Claude does. So Claude is like my expert advisor in building these projects. In every project I've started, I've always started a Claude project and I gave it the PRD. And then we just riffed on that for a while. I had a good chunk of data to then take to Claude Code. I said, let's build this. Created a PRD file. I opened a new folder. I dropped that in /init, which initializes Claude to start cooking with the markdown file, the plan, the vision. And that kind of lays the foundation. That's how I built it. It's going to be different for everybody. But I think using Claude or ChatGPT to start, and you just basically, like, I use Whisperflow. I forgot how to type now. I'm just using Whisperflow all the time. But
Yeah.
I'm literally just, here's my problems, and they're all unorganized thoughts. But at least it gets it out into the world where it's like, I could see my problem now, and Claude now can understand my problem. And all you have to do is say, Claude, how do we build an app around this? How do I solve this problem by building a solution? And that's like how I do it. And I think that's how, if you don't know what you're doing, I think that's how you should do it. Use one of these large language models to at least go from it living in your mind to actually manifesting it into the physical world. Because once you see it on in front of you, you're like, okay, now I can see this. Now where do I take this information to now start building it? And then off the Next.js starter kit, I think is huge. Ross Mike here on YouTube, Michael, great. He's been on the podcast with Greg. He has a couple starter kits, and I think this is where people should start if you don't know. You're just getting into the space, and I'll put it linked down below. But it's a Next.js starter kit that has everything you need to build the product that you're looking for. Like, you don't need to worry about what database am I going to use, what am I going to use Tailwind, or how am I going to use for the UI. You don't need to worry about that because the starter kit has everything, and then you can kind of make it your own. It has everything to plug in for the database. Authentication, has Google OAuth, has an OpenAI SDK where you could just plug it in. And I'll link the tutorial down below. But if you're starting out, that's going to get you 90% of the way there. You could get your product built in a day. There was a time when I was building Easy Flip, I was 21 days into it. I had to redo everything. I started over. But I started over with that Next.js starter kit. I was able to build it all out in one day. What took me 21 days to build, I was able to just start over and use that starter kit and get everything built in one day because, I didn't have weird tables in Supabase messed up, and everything was just so like over engineered and over like too much lines of code for nothing.
How did you come on that Vibe Vortex? Like, did you just start fresh, like download the code base to get like the PRD, or you just literally started fresh?
Yeah, I just used the PRD from the original. And then actually I went to Git ingest, and I took that starter kit and I just put it into Git ingest. And then I copied that into Claude project. And I said, this is our architecture that we're using. Now we use this PRD, but build it around that architecture. So it knew, okay, we're using Tailwind, we're using ShadCN, we're using Neon, we're using BetterAuth, we're using OpenAI. And now how can we take the PRD and plug it into all of these tools so it works? And I was like, that's how you do it. Because on Bolt, you don't really see the back end on how it's built. It's just like building it for you, but you don't know how anything works. And for me, I need to know how things work because I don't know what we're doing. Like, I don't know. And things were breaking, and I was like, there has to be a better way. So yes, that starter kit. And I even recommend to people in Startup Empire, like, hey, if you want to get going, use this.
Oh, dude, I think I haven't used it yet because I haven't built like a full app, but I'm going to. You want to let me share my screen?
Oh yeah.
We got a little flow diagram here if we want. I think this is just, I don't know if this is helpful. Like, you can go to Idea Browser and Idea Builder if you want. You can also like dictate your problem if you have directly, like, use Whisperflow directly into Claude to get the PRD, right?
Did you just build that?
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, you can use OpenAI or Gemini, but I think like for beginners, like, you need to be like, we're being prescriptive. Please don't explore everything. Just like follow this and just try. And then if you don't like Claude, you can kill it, right? Like, I think a lot of people will stay in this procrastination land and they just won't start. And that's like the biggest thing is like you need you need reps. So we got Claude Code, and then you're going to connect your GitHub, because you need to, like, GitHub is like, where your code lives, basically, for complete beginners. And then you're going to use a database, which would be Supabase or Neon or Railway is what I would recommend. And then you're gonna, like, this is like the store it phase. I guess house it, store it, and then host it. I guess, are you using Vercel?
Yeah.
I think this is it.
That's what I did.
There's auth here, like, use it. You know that old, like, the game, like, Bop It, Twist It,
Yep.
that, like, child's
Yeah.
game. That's what I think about when I'm, like, building SaaS. I'm like, all right, ingest it, use it, live it.
Yeah.
So this is better off. And just in asking, if you go back up to this PRD, if you know all of this, and just make this suggestion, or load this starter kit into Claude, like you said, and use it as a project and say, like, hey, this is my idea. Tell me what I should use for it. I think this is it.
Yeah, it was hard to comprehend it. Like the steps when I was building with Bolt, and even just going into Claude Code after that, I was like, there has to be a better way, because this is not doing what I want to do. And following this simple framework or roadmap just helped me visualize it better, understand what makes a successful app. You don't need all these tools. You literally just need authentication, payments, and a database to store all your credentials, and that's it. So yeah, using that was really helpful. And I'm trying to help a person that's at our local church build they have a horse arena, and they want to build an entire app around it where people can, like, log in and book a time to go ride their horse, train their horse, or whatever. And we were able to build basically the whole app in like a 1 hour Zoom call when this guy had no experience. And I have very little experience, but we just
Did you
jammed on
film that?
Claude. Huh?
Did you
And
film that?
I actually have the Zoom recording, but it's not public or anything. But
That's amazing.
yeah, then that's, and Eric's like, man, are we coding? And it's like, well, we are, but we're just like vibe coding is what they call it. He's like, interesting. And he's just a little older than me, but really loves AI and wants to get involved. And they have an Airbnb they're going to launch, but instead of launching it on Airbnb, we're going to use what James, the boring marketer, kind of did with their local ranking for SEO. And we're going to launch his own website with his own Airbnb app. So, there's a lot of cool things that you can help people out with that they're all about. And, it's just cool to see, that's where I was a couple months ago. Like, oh man, I can actually launch my own business doing this. So, yeah, but I would say following that framework you outlined there, that's the way. You don't need to overcomplicate it. And, it's really easy to get confused if you're looking at everything that's coming out. It's just you'll have, I think that my biggest struggle in this space is that, oh, I could build that, I could build that, I could build that. Brett in the group he's doing YouTube, and his channel is like half-baked projects, and it's like that's the thing. I think when most developers, they build something and then maybe get 80% of the way there and then just jump onto the next thing. I don't want to be like that. I want to actually see the product through and launch it, and then I can move on. But yeah, just don't get lost. Follow that framework. I'll put links to everything down below, and go build. Like I want to talk to many builders as I can, to just figure out like what makes them. It always goes back, like, how can I just go from zero to finished product as fast as possible? Because I think that in this day and age, learning the skills as fast as you can is the biggest skill. Like, how can I get as good as I can using these tools? And people will come knocking on your door saying, hey, build this for me, because you've developed that skill of learning the skills quickly.
Yeah.
So
Totally. I think that's
yeah.
what I say all the time. Like, just get reps.
Yeah.
Like, your 21 days of building, you rebuilt it the next day. That's like the best case study ever. It's like, it took you 21 days to learn, 1 day to do it the second time, 1 hour to do it the third time, 1 minute to do it the fourth time. I know that's insane, but that's what reps do.
Yeah. There was a comment under that video said, "Well, you're not a developer yet until you've scrapped your project 10 times."
Right.
And I felt like really demoralized and just wanting to quit after scrapping it the first time because I spent so much time doing it. And I think it was not only just a skill issue, but I learned so much in that 80 to 100 hours of time put in to restart over. It's like playing your favorite role playing game and you get to the final boss and then you start over. And you're like, all right, I lost my save game on that. I'm starting over. But, it's just like I learned so much in that experience that, it, you may need to scrap your project and you maybe have more clarity building it the second time around because I had so much over engineered code in there that it was like I only needed 300 lines of code to build what I wanted to build, but I had 300,000 lines of code. It was just clogging things up. So, and that's just a learning lesson. So, I think that if you're wanting to build today, it's no better time. And I'm happy to have you on. I don't want to take up your whole day, but let's leave it on like maybe like a hot take. What is something that you feel strongly about that maybe is like an unconventional opinion out there?
I would say nothing is dead. Everyone's like RIP, Zapier, N8N, Google. Just nothing is dead. And there's a lot of noise out there. Find what works for you. Chip away at it. You absolutely can do it. AI gives you the superpower to take your 10 years of experience in whatever domain you are in and layer in AI, and you're a superhuman that can build business. Like I came from the med tech world. I'm helping my buddy who's like a med tech entrepreneur and a nurse. Like he knows med tech cold, and now he's like an AI expert. And med tech plus AI, he's like now becoming the guy for that. And he felt like it was insane like a year ago when he started doing it. And now he's like building custom apps for med tech manufacturers. And it's like, that's insane. So if you have 10 years of experience in anything, layer in AI and you're superhuman, go build and tell me about it because it fires me up and this is what we love to do.
Yeah, and that was one of my questions, but it was asking what industry do you think is the furthest behind when it comes to AI? And you just said it right there was like if you're skillful in something, how can you implement AI into that skill? And you're going to be a founding father in that niche, because you implemented AI.
You
Um,
actually are. You actually are.
yep,
Because you have how that industry works in your brain. No model has that.
in
And they're never going to have it because they're all racing toward like general intelligence. So
right.
what's going to be available to conquer? Niche intelligence.
Do you think there is a timeline for builders right now to, not be like so lackadaisical in building? Because, like, do you think there's like a timeline where, like, hey, this is the opportunity, but it's not going to be forever? And how
Yeah.
long do you think that is?
Dude, I would said, I mean, I change a lot, but I would say like depends. Like if you're building in like SaaS and like very competitive, like edge of the earth stuff where you like would get your customers on Twitter, you might have -8 months.
Yeah.
Like it's maybe too late. But if you're going into like local businesses, these old industries, like med tech or health tech or realtors, or like there's a ton, right? Like I would just not go and do anything in tech. I would take the tech experience. Like if you're getting your customers on X, I probably wouldn't play in that space if I was just starting. But I would say like 18 to 24 months, there's still plenty of runway. And I would say in some industries, like my med tech friend, like has a hard time convincing them to buy, is what he says, because
Mm.
it's so early. Like they know they need it, but they don't know what they need.
Yeah.
And so like as ChatGPT layers in chat apps that just launched this week, like that interface they're already going to be in, which reduces the friction for builders to also build in that interface. It's like kind of like how the internet started. It's like imagine going and knocking on, like an old manufacturer's door in 1990 and be like, "Do you want dial-up connection?" They would
They,
they would say no. Like,
they need it and could use it and it will help their business, but they don't know,
they would say no.
what
So that's where I think we're at. And I like to look in like how I think history repeats itself. So I like to look in the past of like, you remember AOL used to send 30-minute free trial CDs
Yep.
to your mailbox.
Yeah.
and you used to put them in your computer, and that's how you got on the internet.
Yep.
That is insane.
That is I think I still have one. I'm pretty sure I got one
Yeah, that's
still.
put it in a frame. So
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
exactly.
I don't know if it's 18 months, 24 months, 9 months, it doesn't really matter. You just need to be nimble and flexible and, ride the wave, and
Yeah.
this is the wave, no
Yeah,
question.
100%. Yeah, I would like to have you on again, like, name the segment "Mix It Up" with Jordan. Yeah, yeah,
Anytime, dude. I'm
yeah,
happy to do this. This is fun, dude, for real.
appreciate it.
I hope this is valuable to people. You know where to find me, and, hit me up if you need anything or if you have an idea and wanna jam on it.
Yeah, I'll put links to everything we talked about down below. Are you able to share that little diagram?
Oh,
And
yeah, for
and I
sure.
and I
I
can put
wouldn't say this diagram's amazing, like,
just simple.
architecturally, but it will get you going, right? That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I appreciate your time, man, and, yeah, we'll have you on in the future.
Alright, my man. Thanks, Bo. Appreciate you.